I says, I'll meet you. You want to meet for breakfast? We'll meet at the Hornet's Nest. He goes, fine. So we met there about 10:30, and we're having breakfast. And, oh, by the way, he bought breakfast, which was nice. I appreciate that. And we're sitting there, we're bullshitting. Now, we did the open house. Well, let me go back up for a minute. I know I'm confusing you guys. We did an open house. Ernie, John, and myself were basically the only ones out of our squad that was there, because everybody said, well, we can go. So everybody left, but I had to show John something on how to do the points, and he had to show me how he uses the software so I can show him how to put the points in, if that makes any sense to you. And then Ernie deleted something in his phone that the squad put in that we told him don't delete, but he deleted it. So I had to re-enter that. So we're still there bullshitting. Prior to this, when I was with John for a few minutes, John said to me he heard Joe, which is our captain, tell Ernie that in October he's leaving. So I said to John, what does he mean he's leaving? I mean, he's leaving the squad, he's pulling out, or is he stepping down from captain? You know, because, and then why October? You follow me? Why October? October really has nothing to do with this. Not unless he thinks he's going to have his points in by October because he wants to get that next check, and then he's just going to say, okay guys, I'm out of here. You know, I mean, that can happen, or whatever. I have no idea what his reasoning is because he has no reasoning. So it makes it tough. So we're at everybody left and the three of us are still there, and we're in the squad room, and both of them, John and Ernie, said to me, Joe was talking about leaving in October. I said, well, again, now this is Ernie telling me now. First it was John telling me that he thought he heard Ernie and Joe talking to him about it, but now this is also Ernie. So now I know it's coming right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And he said at that point, Joe's talking about leaving in October. So I says, well, again, is he leaving or is he just stepping down? And they both shrugged their shoulders because they really don't know. He says, and then they said, well, it's good that you're here. Because basically, I'm going to supposedly be taking over. But at least there's some uniformity within the squad. So at that point, I thought, all right. So meanwhile, we left it at that. So Monday, I text him back saying, let's meet for breakfast. And by the way, I think there's something you may have on your mind that you may want to talk about. So we meet. And we're having breakfast. We're just bullshitting about stuff in general. And so on. And we're almost getting ready to leave. I said, Joe, I got to ask you a question. So I'm going to come right out and ask it. I says, a couple of the guys told me you said something about you're backing out of here in October. I says, I want to know what's going on. I says, because one, I'm talking like I'm the captain here, and I'm not. This is something that the captain should be doing with another member. You follow me? So anyway, I said, Joe, you're a valuable asset to the squad, which he is because of his background and his training as a worker bee. He was with the fire department for like 37 years. So, he does have some background, and things to offer if he would get motivated to do so and pay attention to what it is. It's almost like once he retired from the fire department that he was in, which was in another town, his mind kind of went dormant, but at that point, I said, because, backing out would be, it's up to you, but, you're a valuable member, of the squad. If you're talking about stepping down, I told you before, which I had, I said, if you want to step down, don't feel bad. All right, I says, you're not going to leave the squad in a jamble, which I want him to think that he's, everything's cool. And I'll be more than happy to take over and fill your shoes for a while until, there's a vote or whatever the case may be. He goes, well, I decided that I'm going to wait until January. Well, January is when we vote. Oh, okay. So he never told me why or what, okay? I can only assume, and sometimes that you really don't want to assume things because you can assume wrong and you're off in the wrong direction. That's like when I thought I may have been, another guy's son or something, but at that point, you never assume. But I was thinking that maybe he thinks that he's just not capable of being the captain. Maybe it's finally sinking in, and he really isn't, okay? But then he says, well, I'm going to wait until January when everybody votes. All right, okay, not a problem. And I said, oh, okay, blah, 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 and I kind of just played it off. I said what I had to say. He said what he had to say. I'm not going to just keep belaboring this, you know what I mean? If I let it be. And then I was talking to one of the other guys about it, and I said, well, this is what he said. He goes, well, that's pretty selfish of him. And after I thought about it for a minute, because I listen, but I try not to judge. Sometimes it's hard, and, because we all have a habit of judging people. But I didn't really think of it that way. I was thinking of him being more or less a confused individual, But this other member said, no, that's kind of, selfish. I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, he knows he's not doing the job. And he knows he can't do the job. So yet he's still going to hang in there until he gets voted out? Instead of letting somebody take over that can take it and run with it and get it going? He goes, that's selfish of him. Well, if you think about it, it does sound kind of selfish. You know what I mean? And then he says to me, if you were in charge, would you rather resign? All right, because you did it because you felt it was better for the squad and it was better for you to say, listen, guys, I got to step down. All right? Or wait until we fire you. You know what I mean? Because that's basically how it is, So again, he's not thinking. This is the way it is. And I hate to keep pushing this issue with this guy because, it's just, probably sounds like I just don't like the guy, and it's not that way at all. I don't care for a person or any person in general. That's bringing down a system and for selfish reasons doesn't want to make any changes. You understand what I'm saying there? I'll try to mentor you in some way because I used to be a mentor with the Coast Guard. All right, and at that point, I was an instructor. But at that point, it's one of these things to where it's really getting uncomfortable because he makes himself look bad. I mentioned it once before, I think. We went to a training one night, and he's talking to one of the captains that was on duty in charge of he was working the training. The guy that was in charge of the training was the training officer, which is a chief. But he was talking to one of the captains that was doing what the chief wanted him to do. And he's talking to this guy how he wants to do this, but there's nothing here for us to do, and this and that. The next thing you know, he's just off. Where the captain finally said, "Yeah, all right, I'll catch you later. I gotta go." And he kind of walks away, and as he's swinging and walking away, he kind of glances over my way, and he kind of rolls his eyes back a little bit. Well, Joe didn't catch that because his back was to him at that point, and you're not going to read any expressions on my face, because if you did something and you're looking at me and do something, you know, like make a gesture about somebody that may be off, that may not seen it, but he can see me. You know, I'm not going to give that gesture away by making another gesture of some sort, you know, a smile, a nod, you know, or anything. I just kind of like caught it. I know what you meant, and I ignore it. Because otherwise you can give it away. You know, hey, what are you gonna do? Shit happens. So meanwhile, I'm trying to think this out, because I'm gonna tell this guy that said that was rude. I'm gonna say, well, it could have been. You know, it may have been. But at that point, you know, we can just kind of run it the way we feel it's got to be run. You know, we'll listen to him, but we'll do what we have to do. You know, and that's all there is to it. Because, you know, he can easily kill the squad this year to where we won't even be out there next year. I mean, it can really get down to that. So it's basically, let's do what we have to do. Let him, you know, fill the seat and make all the whatever it is he's doing, and then we'll just continue doing what we have to do to keep everything going. You know, and then when we go to the next meeting, we'll say, oh, by the way, Joe, when you told us to do this, because he's not going to remember that he didn't tell us to do this. You follow me? And at that point, we'll take it from there. But again, you know, we don't want to lose him as a member, because he is a valuable member. And he's a nice guy, you know? I mean, if he wasn't a nice guy, I'd probably tell him, listen, you stupid son of a bitch, don't you understand? You know, but, you know, at that point, he's a good guy. He really is.